Happy hump day, right? I'm going live on Facebook here. Share to your group. I'm in way too many groups here. So I guess I should type in. So as you all are tuning on, let us know where you're tuning in from. It looks like I'm not able to stream on America. Interesting. Well, all right. I'm not going to stress about it. We'll just share the recording. Oh, I think my husband's on, potentially, or someone else is calling me beautiful. Hi, I've barely seen him. We've been so busy building into the event here. So I'm so excited to chat with you all. Hi, Vina. We need to upgrade Vina. She's having some technical difficulties here. Participants, let's find Vina. So our goal tonight is to talk about International Convention, let you know that it's not too late, that you can still get there. And really what I'm excited for tonight is to share some, I don't know, inspirational stories, which sounds cliche, but we all need it. I know Don and I, we were talking a lot recently, how we just really need this event. You feel me on that? Vina's like shaking her head. Like, I just feel like every 6 months, this business is so much fun and it's very, profitable and duplicatable and all of those things, but that doesn't mean that we don't get a lot of no's. It doesn't mean that people don't give us a hard time. It doesn't mean that it doesn't have some struggles and trials and tribulations. And so the good outweighs the bad for sure. But why I love having a corporate event every 6 months is we really need our batteries recharged. Like we need to come together, we need to learn, we need to hug each other, we need to just feel inspired, right? And so when I was, right now my life is so crazy, I'm like day to day. So yesterday when I was looking at what I had to do for today, and I'm like, I need a guest for tonight. And I thought of Vina immediately because I know that, she's always on the go and on the grow. And I've seen just some exciting things happening, watching her and her business. And actually, we haven't even had a proper catch up for quite some time. And so Vina, I'm going to sort of just turn it over to you, but I know in our chat, our voice memo was back and forth yesterday. You thought of these 3 ladies because they're all at different points in their business, right? And so I think it'll be very powerful and impactful to everyone tuning in because you're gonna relate to somebody, right? Like you're not just gonna hear from one person and think like that's cool, but they don't know what I'm going through, or I can't relate to them and they don't understand me and things like that. So our goal is really to connect with every single person on tonight. So feel free to, I love that people are joining in the chat, letting us know where you're from. We are here for you. We're, a community that wants to all help one another out. And if you have any reservations about going to the event, let's talk about that. Let's overcome those objections. Let's get creative and help you get there. But why don't we start with you sharing, like what your first event was and what that, you went out on a limb because of course, no one knows what to expect before you get to your first event, right? So maybe just share, you were a traditional business owner at the time. So, I think one thing people will get from you is the sacrifice and the cost of going for someone like you. I can't imagine it having been any more for anyone else coming from California, not only paying what you paid to get there, but losing the money that you lost closing your business down to be there. But talk about kind of like, and you can be real, like what your hesitation was and then what the reality was and then what it did for you moving forward. Oh no, she's frozen. That big buildup and then she froze.
How about now? Am I back now? Sorry about that, you guys. Apparently there's some storms going on in Ohio and that's where I'm at right now.
Okay.
Ohio. But, I get the gist. And here's the biggest thing, you guys. I had a medical spa. I'm going to tell you, had it not been for Dawn and Lisa Martin, and Dawn, especially, if you've not met Dawn, I'm going to tell you, Dawn and Lisa, they listen. The biggest thing that we talk about is listening to where people are at. And I have no internet. This is just awesome.
Vina, do
Oh
you
my
want to,
God.
why don't you try coming out and coming back in?
Thank you. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna do that. I mean, I'm so excited tonight. Oh my gosh, I have
Oh, she keeps freezing. Well, here, I'm gonna see if I can. Well, we'll just keep moving on. I don't know if she'll log back in or not, but I'll give a brief little synopsis of Vina and then she can share more of her story. But again, she was saying she owned a med spa studio. And so when she left her business, it was really just sort of like taking a leap of faith for her to come to the event based on us as senior partners, really listening to what her goals were. And now there's two Vinas. And saying to her, like, hey, if that's your goal and you're real about that, then you need to get to the event. And so it was a big to do to get there, flying across the country and, being a traditional business owner for so long, and then kind of stepping into something that is obviously a much different model. So let's give it another try, Vina. Go ahead.
oh my goodness, you guys, I'm so sorry. The biggest thing was this. You had to have belief in the product is what I had belief in. Honestly, it wasn't even belief in the business because I knew nothing about the business. I didn't want to know anything about the business. It was the product. And the biggest thing is when you're listening to someone that is maybe looking at this business, don't give them what you think is the best. Give them what they're wanting. And the biggest thing is listen to what they're telling you. And the biggest thing for me was education. I wanted to make sure that I was always the best of the best. And you guys all know me by skincare, but it was supplementation. That's what I wanted to know about. And I'll never forget when Don Martin said, oh, you want to be the best of the best in
She's frozen again. All right. So maybe third time will be a charm. But for those of you that are on, I don't want to keep going round and round in circles here. But okay, so we'll circle back to Vina. But let's go to Nicole, because Nicole, I know you're a new partner. You've never been to a corporate event before. So what was said or what made you decide to come to the event, as someone who's doing this as a new endeavor?
Honestly, my whole reason of going is because I want to beat Vina.
Oh, I love that. That is as good a reason as any, right?
No, I'm excited. I wanted to go because I wanted to better myself and better my business. I'm a stay-at-home wife and mom, and I have no education in skincare and makeup prior to working with the company, other than being Vina's client. And I absolutely love it. And that's why I want to go, is because I want to learn more. I want to go to the next level and I want to keep going until I beat her.
I love that. I love that. So listen, you're doing the hardest tasks of all, being a mom and being home with them all the time is for sure. I do both. So I can tell you that that's harder for sure. And I know that you must be coachable because you hit a challenge, which is so exciting. So obviously you were using that as a roadmap and, checking those boxes to get there. And you mentioned that you were a client of Vina. So that's how you already, had some trust in her because you had results from some of the treatments that she was giving you and the products that she was recommending. Right. But I want to reiterate, Nicole, like what you're saying, like you just want to meet her. I think that is so powerful because the majority of people that partner with us in this business, it's for the camaraderie. It's the products and it's the camaraderie. And so, I think for those of us that are actively building our business, don't discount that. It's not always that, someone is wanting extra money, although who doesn't want extra money, right? But a lot of times it's just like we want a positive community. And if we're focused on evolving into the best version of ourselves, then we need to, the only way that that's going to happen is by leveling up with the people that are around you. And I can already tell you have a competitive spirit because you were saying that you want to meet her and then beat her in levels. So I love that. And I know she loves that too. So Andrea, I know when Vina was chatting, so my understanding is you were at convention last year, because I know I met you there last year. And so maybe share about your experience, like what that first event did for you, because this is a new business endeavor for you as well.
It gave me more belief in the company, just meeting all the people that I got to meet. And, because I came into a time when we were, so there wasn't that social aspect. My salon was closed, that type of thing. We were just getting back into opening back up. So I was looking for products to bring back into the salon, but going to convention for me was, it was just a huge eye opener for me. The things that the company does for us, the camaraderie, like you said, is amazing. I was used to being on Zooms and when I got to finally meet those people in person, everybody was just super, super nice and helpful and friendly. That was,
yeah. And I think, gosh, we sound like broken records or a cliche, but people need that more than ever right now. It's been a really long, lonely couple years. And I was just talking to someone yesterday about, the struggle of getting people to even want to come, because there's people like all of us that are just like, oh my gosh, we wouldn't miss it. We're so excited. But the reality is there's a lot of people that just like now they have this new habit where everything needs to just be super uber convenient, needs to be virtual, or they're not interested, or they feel awkward now. And I'll be honest, like sometimes I feel like the first like UBP and then the first home presentation that I did after, a year of really not doing it, like it feels weird, right? So I think that we can all empathize with that and be a little sensitive that maybe if you're listening tonight, or maybe we're speaking through you, maybe you're tuning in and you're having conversations with people and they're a little bit standoffish because it's almost like we've forgotten how to be or socialize or have social graces, right? So I do want people to know that this event, having a little bit of an inside track on some of the planning, it's, at one point we were about 30,000 people at an international convention. It's not going to be that this year. I don't know an exact number. I don't know how many tickets were sold, but I imagine based on the planning that it's less than 10,000. So it's not going to be this super overwhelming. I know 10,000 is a lot of people, but when you have a large Coliseum with lots of seating, I think everyone's going to feel very comfortable. And it's going to, selfishly, I like the smaller group. I know a lot of us were talking about that at World Conference, how it just felt like a little more intimate and you got to see more people. So I think that that's another great reason to attend this convention, because it's just going to keep growing in the next event and the next event and the next event. And then it's going to be like a really large production again. But I think this one is going to feel very special, and it's going to be with people who are super, again, passionate and purposeful about being there. And you ladies are all from California, so you're coming a very long way. So Monica, why don't you chat about, I know your husband has a traditional business that keeps him very busy, and you've had a career, and now you're kind of evolving into this. So maybe share really just what this business has done for your mindset and kind of where you're thinking about the future. And I love that there's a variety, because again, Nicole's staying home and doing that, and, you're working, but supporting your husband, and you guys are building the business together. And then, Andrea, you already have, you're in the beauty world, so that kind of already fits in your world. So you're all in very different scenarios, which is awesome.
Well, thank you for having me on. And Nicole, congratulations on your challenge winning. And, I'm very proud of you, and it's very aspiring that you want to fill Vina's shoes, because those are some big shoes to fill, but congratulations. I really, this business has been just, I can't even put into words really, the tribe that we have, the family that we have. I was lucky enough to go to the first convention and meet our beloved Dennis Franks, who was larger than life and really, put his arms around everybody and brought them into this business wholeheartedly with the love and compassion. And it was really cool because, being on the corporate side that he was, and like rubbing shoulders with these people who you think you can, you're just this little peon. None of these people made you feel like you were somebody on the small side. You were all part of the family, which was fantastic. I mean, just the family unity that you get with this business is enough to want to be in it, because like you said, it's the camaraderie. But beyond all that, it's everything it has to offer you. I mean, yes, I work in a medical field where it's just so stressful, and I'm being able to be at home and work this business from my aspect and my side of things, and the limitless possibilities that we have in this business with, you know, TLS and motives and skincare. I mean, it's just, the sky's the limit. There's no turning back. There's people in every corner of every part of this globe that will help you succeed. And I can't thank so many people enough for being in my corner to help push me through.
Yeah, I love that. That's such a good point where, you know, what I love about our business is really you just focus on the person, right? And I think Vina's like, you attract the best people, I'll say, because that's her goal. Like, I know she said that to me over and over, like, I don't want to do business with people who I don't want to do life with. Like, and she's very centered and focused on, I just want to find the right caliber of person with the right qualities. And then to your point, Monica, like they're going to find something that they love, right? Because there's something for everybody and everything for everybody essentially. But, you know, that's another great thing that the event will do with the expo and all the booths and stuff is like, and of course, stage presentations, but people are going to learn more and more about the products and about each individual division and find your sweet spot. You know, just because, you know, in the core of you guys, like, you know, Vina is really into the nutrition and the skincare, that doesn't mean that you need to be, right? And I know that you all know that you're all kind of finding your groove, but it's such a great point to make. And maybe let us know in the chat if you are not brand new, but new within the last year or so as a new partner. Let us just type like a 1 if you are. And also I'd be curious to know who is going to the event for the first time, if anybody. Maybe you've all been there before, but you know, and so we're at different levels, right? I think once you've been to a main event, then you understand why people worked so hard to get you there, because it's indescribable. It's kind of like, you know, oh, well, you don't need to go to, I love country music, so you don't need to go to a Garth Brooks concert. You can listen to him on the radio. It's not the same, right? And we could give a lot of other analogies. Oh my gosh, look at all these new people. I love that.
About convention, I mean, the fire that it lights under you to, after you leave that place, to know that the sky's the limit and that you can just run with it is incredible. The feeling that you have that this company wants you to do your best and succeed, and they will pull out every stop to allow you to go. So convention is a must go.
It's a must
Lisa,
go.
how exciting is this? I mean, look at this. This
Yay,
is my dream. This
Yeah.
is my dream. My dream is to have other like-minded people doing business with me. Not only do we do business together, we do life. We kind of have Margarita Mondays. I won't lie. We get together and we have a great time and we plan out the month. But, you know, the bottom line is this, is that I could have never dreamed, if I would have thought 5 years ago that this was going to be my life, I would have never believed you.
Yeah.
Right. And in order to keep this going, the plan is going to convention. It's not just about going to convention, but it's about feeling it, being part of it. When I went to my very first one, it was all about meeting my people. You know, when I tell people I'm not a unicorn, I'm not the only person in the world that wants the best for you, that wants to do the best for you, that you're going to learn from. I'm minuscule compared to everyone else. All of us become that really big movement, and that movement is being of service, right? And that to me is, money always follows. Money always follows, but being of service is huge. And to Nicole, a stay-at-home mom, to Monica, that's wanting to change her life and look at a different route, to Andrea, he doesn't have to fight with other people over what product she's going to use, or online. She doesn't have to be undercut. I mean, that's, to me, I mean, the money shows up, trust me, but to me, that's better than money.
Mhm.
And that all really, I have to be filled back up by going to convention. My very first convention was all about, this is gonna be ridiculous. I'm not the cheerleader. I was like, this is ridiculous. I can't believe Don Martin talked me into flying to some minuscule place like Greensboro, North Carolina. I didn't even know there was a Greensboro, North Carolina, right? And then to listen to other people speak, I'm like, come on, you guys. I get paid $500 for 24 hours. I mean, for a 2-day class to hear me speak was $500, minimal. And now I'm going to go to listen to people I've never even heard of. Oh my gosh, when I started Googling these people, you guys, amazing. Every single person that speaks has such an amazing background. And that's the biggest thing I can tell you. The one thing that I did learn from Dawn and Lisa was to listen, to figure out how you're going to fill their funnel. Now, if you're going to tell me, hey, you're going to learn about the business, I would say, I'll stay home, but thank you. But when they told me, hey, you want to be the best of the best when it comes to product, come check this out. You're going to be doing yourself a disservice. They didn't talk about the business. They talked about what spoke to me. And that was education. Education was huge. So that's why I went. And I can tell you, oh my gosh, it almost brings me to tears every time we tell this story. But I can tell you, I was in tears. And I'll never forget it because I knew nobody. But before I left, I knew everybody, or I thought everybody. But I felt like I'd met my people. I had met people that had the same beliefs, that had the same why, that wanted to be successful, but not on someone else's insuccess. Or is that a word? Insuccess? not on someone not being successful. Mm-hmm. We were all being successful together.
Right.
And that was an accident, by the way, you guys. That was an accident. Because I was only going to learn about the product. Mm-hmm. So when I stumbled onto everything else, and that was not told to me, like that was not told to me. The type of people that I was going to be meeting was not told to me.
Right.
But when I experienced it, I've never missed ever. I've never ever missed a convention, and I never will. Never will. No matter what in my life has happened, I will never will. And I can tell you, the people that I love the most, the people that I cherish the most, and here's 3 of them, they're gonna be there.
Right. Right.
You know, I'll never forget Andrea, because of business, wasn't able to be at our last one. Made her crazy, right? And she told me after that last one, she's like, I will never miss another one. I will never do it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was just so much catching up to do, right?
Right. Let's dig into that a little bit, because I think there's probably people that can relate to that. So what were you telling Dina about that process? Because you went last year to convention and then you missed World Conference. So
yeah, I was really bummed to miss that. I was looking forward to seeing everybody. I was looking forward to all of it, but I do own another business. So that kind of took precedence that time. So yeah, I felt out of the loop.
Yeah.
And actually after everybody came back and months later, I would stumble on something in the back office and I'd ask Dina about it. And she was like, oh yeah, you weren't at World Conference, or yeah, World Conference. You weren't there. Mm-hmm. And so I said, God, I miss so much.
Well, you know, we say you get like 6 months of education in that one weekend, and it's true, right? Like you just feel like you're constantly catching up. If you're not there, then I can see how you feel like you really are constantly trying to catch up, right?
Right.
And it was horrible that I kept sending her videos. I'm like, oh my goodness, Lauren is talking to you. Oh my gosh, you have no idea what Lauren's saying. She's talking to you, right? Or, oh my gosh, did you hear what Mark Ashley said? Oh no, you didn't. You didn't hear.
Yeah, that's not nice.
So not nice. But here's the thing. The biggest thing is this. I want more than they could ever want for themselves.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and again, you go back to that, Lisa, I choose who I want to be in business with. Mm-hmm. So obviously I want them to show up with me. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be ever there by myself. And you know what? We have a huge tribe showing up this year, mm-hmm. but these ladies are what's holding down this California. They are handling it. And I want to show that they're all in different places. So I'm going to talk to Nicole differently than I'm going to talk to Andrea or Monica. And that's the thing. And I guess that's the biggest thing I want to get across to everyone. Don't tell them what inspires you. Listen to what will inspire them.
Right. And I think everyone has a little bit of a different why, right? And different goals. So it is really important to customize that conversation. So when you're inviting someone to come to convention, whether they're a new partner, a potential partner, someone that's been around a long time, a guest, whatever the case may be, you can't just regurgitate the same thing all the time, like come to the event, come to the event. You really need to talk about why they need to be there and what the event can do for them and their specific goals. So, you know, Andre, what are you looking? I feel like we cut you off. Did you have something more to say? Like, what are you looking, like, what are you hoping or expecting to get out of this event?
The classes, I mean, the education, because that's part of what my industry does. We get so many classes to start.
Right.
Yeah, I own a salon. I'm a cosmetologist. We only get so much training. We have to go out and find our training, and it's expensive when we can find it. For the price of this ticket, the education that you're getting, not only from the actual convention, but the classes outside of that you guys offer were amazing. I mean, the custom blend classes, the TLS classes, and also getting to meet some of our vendors.
Yeah.
That's going to be amazing. That's going to be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because that is different about this event. So like forever ago, when we first started doing international conventions, they would have an expo. Well, they called it at the time a trade show on Sunday. And then for whatever reason, you know, just things change and they're trying to do different things and they stopped doing that. And once we started surveying the field and talking, like, what do you guys want to see? That was like an overwhelming response because I think people do love the product so much. And there is a lot of training that we can go to, which is amazing through our GMTSS, but sometimes you just want a little bit more. And I think, you know, the goal with the expo is we have all these vendors coming in. So you can go, we're going straight to the source. And, you know, people like you or Vina that have been in the industry, whether, you know, you guys happen to be from the beauty industry, but it's the same thing for health professionals or any professional in any of the divisions or industries that we offer. It's really a way for them to get their questions answered and just sort of level up with that experience and that education. So if you guys were on Mark's, those of you tuning in tonight, hopefully you heard Mark's session. I think it was Monday night. I saw an email that they sent out a recording. So if you weren't able to be on it live, you can listen to the recording. But he gave you an idea of what to expect as far as like walking into the MA world, and that being sort of a whole space to have almost like a 5-day trade show, really, because instead of booths around the concourse like we traditionally have, now we have this MA world where we're going to have booths, but then we're also going to have shop talks, which is a smaller stage where we're going to have, whether it's vendors talking or successful unfranchised owners. So there is going to be more access to information and education, but more professional education than ever before at any event ever before. And I know I'm excited for that just because I've been around a long time. So I've been to like every GMTSS event possible. So I'm excited just to learn something different and new. And I feel like that will be the ultimate form of networking. Like when you walk in every morning, you get to go shopping in the MA mall and buy some gear and then walk around, try new products, talk to vendors, then go to the main event, right? And then at lunch, go back through and then the main event. And then even at the end, walk through. Another thing that you all were talking about, you know, like Monica, you're talking about everyone like really just like being invested in helping each other no matter where they're from. You know, the networking I think is so key. And not only with your own team, like we need to spend time together as a team, but also one of the most important things that everyone like tuning in, listening or sharing the recording with your team, make a point to meet new people. And this is like me doing self-talk because I am rather shy and I actually like, you can ask my husband, I feel like a child when I'm around him. I'm like, well, you just talk and I'll just sit here. You know, it's uncomfortable. I get that. Like I relate, you know, so if some people are nervous to come because they're nervous about how much socialization will be happening. But it's really the best thing that you can do for your business. So just take some Bliss or something before you go. But why I love that, and Vina, you're one of the best I've ever seen, although I know we did give you that advice, but we were like, listen, go and meet the people, because you're going to need these people when you find a prospect or a potential partner in some other state or some other country. You're going to need someone to help you with that. And so, and you reciprocate, you probably do more than most any person I know as far as helping other people's organizations. And so, but then they'll help you with your people, right? So I don't know if you want to sort of add on just like that networking component.
So true, so true. You know, helping each other it starts from that's what J.R. Lawrence says, we're all one team, one dream, right? And I've been blessed to have the knowledge I have in, obviously you guys know my passion is skincare. And yes, I probably receive between 50 and 75 private messages a day from the field. And I help as many as I can, but the relationships are huge. Trust me, don't think that I don't remember who I'm helping, because I've been able to call on them and they don't think for a second. They're like, yes, we'll help you. So it's reciprocal. And I really, really appreciate that. I love what I do. I love educating. I love helping other people, but I'm not the shy one, right? I'm the Don Martin here. I've never met a stranger. I just met a friend I haven't met yet. And everyone out there, please come say hi to me, because I love to talk. I love, right? I love to help others, but I love when they help me. I'm very coachable. You have something that's great. And I think that's the most important thing is, guys, we all come to the table with different strengths, right? And so I love learning. Lisa, do you realize, and I'm expecting a big gift, by the way, that it's my 5-year anniversary come August.
Oh my gosh, I need to make a note. I don't want to disappoint here.
That's what I'm thinking too. It's my 5-year anniversary.
5-year anniversary, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love that.
You know,
Piggyback
I'm just really looking forward to it.
with Vina. Sorry, Vina. Just to piggyback on that, the other thing that's really impressive with convention is how the leaders have really listened to all of us and the people about the fact that, you know, all the breakouts that we had every time after convention was done, it was exhausting. It was, you know, you couldn't really stop to get with your team to have a meeting. And I was very proud of the fact that they listened to the fact that, you know, this is a time for us to get together as a team and really, you know, build on it and have that powwow. And so the fact that we'll be able to do that while we're there after, you know, the long days at convention is really, it speaks volumes of how they listen and how they really tweak things to make it the best experience for all of us.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because again, if you haven't been in the mix or on the webinars where we're talking about what to expect at the event, instead of all the breakouts in the evening, they're now all on Sunday. So I'm so excited about that too, because when do we have a chance to all get together, right? It's this once or twice a year. So I think that's the most important part, actually, is just to be able to break bread and spend time together. Obviously we're learning together all day, but this way we can really kind of rest. I shouldn't say rest, because no one ever sleeps. You don't get rest, but you can connect. You can chill and connect in the evenings, and just stay the extra day. Stay Sunday, go home Sunday night or Monday or whatever the case may be. So, Monica, what are you most looking forward to this go round? Or is there anything, like sometimes when I'm speaking in front of a group, it's like I say something because I want people to hold me accountable. So is there something like special that you want to learn, or like, you know, I don't know if there's anything you want to share.
I mean, a lot of the same thing that everybody else has said. I mean, the classes, the learning, the vendors, the excitement of how they have just built this up to be the hype that it is, the big shindig that it's going to be, and the fact that it's 30 years of doing what they've been doing for all of us to succeed, and this company to succeed is pretty, you know, inspiring in itself. But the new product, who doesn't love to listen to Mark Ash get on stage and do his thing? I mean, he's just full of excitement. But you know, every time Lauren speaks, or you feel like she's speaking to you and through you. I mean, her beginning statements of everything is just, they never make you feel like you have let them down. It's always kind of like what you and Don are doing with the relaunch. It's like everybody has a life and everybody gets busy and life happens, but they always make you feel like, hey, today's the day, just pick yourself up and move on. And, some of us need that. So I think that's a really cool thing. But I mean, I'm just excited. I can't wait to see everybody. I can't wait to meet all of our new team members that have been, brought on the East Coast and everywhere else. And, just to share it with all of our team together.
It's an energy infusion, and, we always have such a mixed crowd listening in. So one thing I do want to say is whenever you partner someone new, this is something that our organization does. It's like sell a ticket with every time a new partner comes on board, they get a ticket to the next event because it's that important, and even if they're not going to build the business, even if they just want the camaraderie, more often than not, people will quit or they'll fall away or they'll give up on themselves if they don't get to a corporate event, because I think the corporate event is really when you can take ownership and you can say, this is my business. Now I've met these other people, like I'm not just Vina's partner or whatever the situation is, right? It's like, I know what I want to do. I know where I want to focus. I've met all these people. I know how to advocate for myself. It's just a whole new level of, I guess, independence or excitement for the future. So as we're wrapping up here and closing, Nicole, I know you don't know what to expect because you've never been to one, but I don't know if there's anything else you want to add on. Like, I know you're excited just to meet Vina and meet the team, but anything that as a newbie that you're really excited about or looking forward to?
Honestly, just the whole thing.
All of it, all the above.
All of it, literally all of it. I want to soak it all in.
Yeah.
I watched it last year and I hear a lot of stories and I've heard everything from everyone, and I'm just really excited to get the opportunity to go this year. And honestly, I'm excited to be the challenge winner, and I'm just excited all the way around. Trust me, I think my family is kind of overhearing how excited I am.
Yeah, no, I love it. So on that note, and we'll wrap up with this. What are you going to wear to go on stage to be recognized? And maybe all you ladies can share what you're going to wear, because that's like what everybody's talking about right now.
I'm going to put on a few options and I'm going to send some pictures.
There you go.
Kind of thing. I have a little debate going on here.
Yeah. Or bringing options is always good.
Exactly.
How about the rest of you? Are you guys? So I know like we could dress like I'm like, we were talking yesterday and Leigh and I were like, are we supposed to dress like a rock star? Are we supposed to be like red carpet formal for the gala? Or are we doing little black dress? Like, I don't know.
The ultimate question, because at first we thought it was going to be red carpet royalty type of thing, because how many times you really get to spruce up and thing. So we were all excited of doing that, and then when Mark brought up the rock star thing, I'm like, oh my god, I got to pull out my Pat Benatar. What?
So that means I got to go shopping.
Yeah, it's a good excuse to go shopping for sure.
I pull, you know what? I'm going to add both glitter with the knee-high boots. I'm just saying.
A little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah, a little bit.
I will say, as I was talking through it, I'm like, originally I was going to wear like a long dress that I wore to a wedding in the fall, that I'm like, oh, this will be a good way to reuse that dress. But then I'm like, it's going to be in the Coliseum and it's like a party. So maybe not a long dress, maybe a shorter dress. I don't know. What about you, Andrea?
I have not decided yet. I'll probably be just bringing a suitcase and, because we're
figuring out there
together.
Well, I will say on more than one occasion, there's a mall within walking distance of the hotel. And so like many a time I've gone over there for shoes or I think like maybe even last year, Leigh and I were there shopping and I think she bought a gala dress when we were there. But anyway, you can never go wrong with a little black dress, that's for sure. But I think, I haven't really been on a conversation as of late with all the planning for convention. I was earlier on. And I know originally the goal was just wear what you feel good in, and so for some people that may just be like a cute pair of jeans and like a rock star t-shirt. And so I think whatever you want to do, it's totally acceptable. But I think it was Nicole who said, like, when do you have a chance to get dressed up, right? So I'm advocating for people to, you know, just dress up, like celebrate you, celebrate life, celebrate this business. Most importantly, celebrate your future, right? And show up for yourself and wear whatever you're going to feel good in and look good in, and be able to last till 1 a.m. because how often do we stay up that late, right? So
Oh, no stilettos.
right, maybe like put a little pair of flats in your purse or something. But yeah, whatever makes you feel your best. But we are going to be recognizing challenge achievers on that night, so I'm so excited. So we're going to hear some special stories, I'm sure, from the executive sales team. We're going to recognize challenge winners. We're just going to celebrate all there is to celebrate, and then party after that. So listen, if you go for one day, it's worth it. So if you're tuning in or you're listening and you're like, I really should invite so-and-so, just do it. Whether they come for one day and then they leave, or they come a day late and they can only stay for a period of the time, it's always worth it. There's still tickets available. So you know, and for us, you know, Don and I bought many tickets, and we wanted to put that pressure on ourselves. And so we still have some to sell, and, you know, it's good. If you don't have any, I would actually buy some right now, because that's the best use of your time, is getting somebody there. And if you don't have the pressure of selling any tickets right now, then you're not going to get anyone else to go, you know. But it's worth it. And there's times like maybe you're sitting on a couple tickets and you're stressing out about who to sell them to. Time and time again, we have gifted them to people and just said, hey, if you can get there, this is my gift to you. And that's never a bad investment, because it's always going to make up for it in volume moving forward and new partnerships moving forward, right? And like I said, just really getting creative on how to travel there, how to maximize the event. And so, you know, as you're inviting people and getting to that point, you know, I think I said this in the beginning, but really just focus on, do you want to go? Yes or no? And let them answer. And if they say yes, then let's say, well, what is it going to take to get you there? And they may say, oh my gosh, I need to figure out my kids. You can bring your kids this time, right? Oh, I don't know, like how to, like, okay, let's carpool, right? Or let's rent an Airbnb together. There's just so many ways to make this happen for people. And this is a much different scenario than, you know, when we go to Florida, because it's just not as affordable or accessible, right? So I think, you know, that when Vina was saying, I never heard of Greensboro, North Carolina, most people haven't, but a positive is that it is super affordable. So figure it out. That's my closing advice to you all, is to figure it out. So we want to thank you guys for joining us, and go up to all these ladies when you see them in a couple weeks and say hello. Let us know if it made you decide to come, or if you got new people to come after that. And please let me know if between now and conference, if you need help having a conversation with someone who's on the fence about attending. You know, I'm certainly happy to help. I think any of these ladies would be happy to help. Just pop us a message on social media and we'll do our best to keep up with it all. So safe travels, everyone. Looking forward to squeezing some of you, to meeting some of you, and learning together and just celebrating life. So thank you four ladies for taking the time out of your busy life to be with me tonight. I really appreciate it. And we'll chat soon.
Thank you, Lisa.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Bye, everyone.